What is up, everybody? This is Alex from IHE TV. Yeah. And I've got a rambly little video I want to do on the Phoenician Scheme, a film I wasn't really planning to rush to, and I didn't rush out to see this. It's on digital now, so that's kind of why I checked it out, because Wes Anderson's been, I don't know, I've been feeling a certain way about him after Asteroid City, which to me was his style ramped up to such a degree where it just kind of felt cold and distant in a way that I'm not really vibing with. It's not like a David Fincher where I'm kind of going for that cold distance, or a Kubrick or whatever. It felt really more that Wes Anderson's strength is when he explores these messy families and these quirky characters and their details, which I just wasn't getting from Asteroid City. Especially with the structure of that film, with the way it was sort of these narratives inside narratives inside narratives, and it felt kind of convoluted and, as a result, plodding. It pretty much took me one scene to fall for this movie. I like the simplicity of just this dude, Benicio del Toro, this businessman dude who's kind of infamous around the world and doesn't belong anywhere and is being chased and trying to be assassinated by all these different people, and the deadpan, flat delivery that is one of Anderson's calling cards is definitely there, but the way it gelled with that simplicity of this assassination plot and this kind of simple dynamic between him and his nun daughter and where that goes was really quite a good hook for me. And shout out to Michael Cera too as the Bjorn. It's maybe the most fun character. The way that goes is genuinely really funny. All the usual suspects appear for kind of bit parts throughout the movie, but as I say, it's mostly these three at the top here that get the focus of the story, and a kind of the heart of it. It did feel like it was returning to some of that humanity that I felt was lacking from his last movie. I didn't see his Roald Dahl shorts, maybe I'll check those out at some point, but you know, it's almost at a certain point I don't know what to say about his films as far as the production design, because it's always, you know, perfect, but very him, and almost in a, I don't know, I don't want to sound like a dick, but somewhat predictable, you know, that symmetry, the framing of everything, these soft pastel color palettes. But it's I don't know, I really like the way Jake Man Carrying Thing put it in his Letterboxd review, where he basically said at some point he's going to stop making movies, and we're going to look back and be like, yeah, maybe perhaps I was too harsh on you, little one. That's like, what's he just seen? Was he just seen Asteroid City, huh? Nah, it wasn't that bad. I would say is more of like a ding. I guess I'm actually listening to the score as I record this little vid for you. Not one of Alexander Desplat's better scores. I actually think the Asteroid City one was a bit stronger. But it complements what's happening in the movie well. It's not insisting on anything. It's just adding a little bit of atmosphere, a little bit of movement to it. It's fine. It does the trick. But really, it's the writing, a lot of the dialogue. Some of these quotes are awesome. You can see on the poster. Something gets in your way, flatten it. I love that, the way that feeds into all these businessman mindsets, and the pace of it's just so quick. That was one of my biggest problems with Asteroid City. It did feel like plodding, and I know the characters are kind of like trapped in one of the meta-narratives or whatever, and that added to that feeling. But here it just moves so quick, and you're introduced to so many different characters, and you're left wanting more of them instead of being sick of them. Yeah, some more of these quotes are really good. The recurring line of "myself, I feel very safe," brilliant comedic beat, genuinely funny, and just so like cartoonish. These are like live action cartoons at a certain point, especially with just the way that camera is used and how meticulous, in the same way an animated movie might be. What's he doing here? Wasn't in the movie, I don't think. And yeah, I just dug how at its heart it is just kind of about like family in a more relatable way, whereas all the business stuff is it's kind of comedically complicated. The way he's like darting around the world, trying to deal with all these difficult people and having these shouting matches. And yeah, it's mostly that comedy that makes it work for me. The score seems a little bit harsh. Now I'm looking at 6.8, only 23,000 people. And I was really curious like how he keeps getting these movies made. And it seems like from my research I have found out, because a lot of the time the budgets for the movies are not included here. It turns out Wes is buddies with this billionaire, Stephen Rails, who I guess funds his movies, so there's no stake in terms of him having to compromise his vision to bring a broader audience in, which I kind of dig. Like, if I was a billionaire, this is the kind of stuff I'd be doing. Like, yeah, you can see a list here of all these movies that he's produced and helped make with his production company. So that's really interesting to me, how that works on sort of a back-end business level. So I'm kind of feeling a very strong, bordering on 8 out of 10, but I'm going to settle on a 7 or 3.5 star on Letterboxd with a goddamn like, you know it. But maybe it will go up to a 4 star on rewatch, because I feel like I could happily rewatch this. I like that it's a 15. It has a bit more like adult backbone. There's some violence in there. There's a really funny action scene or two. The scene with Benedict Cumberbatch is very funny. So as a goofy, cartoonish comedy with really high production value and great camera work and movement and blocking, I'd really recommend this, actually. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like that's kind of Wes Anderson's style, is that some of them are going to speak to you more than others. I know some people that love Asteroid City, so let me know what you think. I've been thinking about this film daily since seeing it, so yeah, maybe I will revisit. I'll see you next time.